Hey everyone, Andy here. Welcome back to the AI Breakdown, the podcast where we separate signal from noise on all things AI at work. Today, I'm tackling a question that is quietly causing panic in boardrooms and product teams. How on earth do you actually price GenAI in SaaS? Is it as simple as bolting on another add-on, or have we blown up the old playbook for good? Whether you're a product manager wrestling with pricing models, a SaaS CEO balancing your bottom line, or you're simply wondering why that tool you love just jumped up 20 quid a month, this episode is tailor-made for you. I'm going to unpack why GenAI has completely turned SaaS pricing on its head, reveal what vendors are doing to adapt their models, and show you exactly where buyers are drawing their red lines in the sand. Let's start at the root. Why does GenAI break traditional SaaS pricing? Old school SaaS was fairly straightforward. You paid your license fee, usually per user per month, and that covered everything. Predictable for the customer, brilliant for the vendor. One more user cost them almost nothing, and profit margins soared as you scaled. But with GenAI, that logic unravels. Every time a user fires off a prompt or gets an AI-generated summary, there's a real cost to the vendor, measured not in users, but in model tokens, API calls, and compute minutes. As BCG and Gartner have flagged, this is a tectonic shift. The new metrics, tokens, actions, sometimes even words or images, mean cost scale with actual usage. The upshot? Pricing is suddenly harder to predict. For vendors, a handful of power users can blow up their margins with heavy AI usage. And for buyers, the bill might be double what you expected if your team gets a bit too enthusiastic with that new magic AI button. There's real-world examples of product managers who watched cloud costs rocket within weeks of rolling out new GenAI features, leaving them scrambling for usage controls after launch instead of before. Let's dig a bit deeper here. Unlike traditional software, where your ongoing costs are basically server bills and support, GenAI comes with real, recurring, and frankly non-trivial infrastructure costs. Here's the quick rundown. Every time someone uses your GenAI feature, behind the scenes, it calls a large language model like GPT-4, Claude, or Gemini, and the costs add up based on what we call tokens. Think of tokens as bite-sized word chunks. For example, with OpenAI's GPT-4.0, you're looking at $2.50 per million input tokens. That's everything your users send to the AI, like summarize this document, and a heftier $10 per million output tokens. All those clever responses coming back. Think of it as paying a small fee every time your users have a conversation with the AI. Now, let me put this into perspective. Picture a SaaS customer support tool handling 10 million requests annually using GenAI, and let's say each request involves approximately 2,000 tokens split between input and output. So you're dealing with 20 billion tokens annually. With GPT-4o, you're looking at approximately $125,000 in raw API costs. And that's before you even consider all the extra infrastructure, safety mechanisms, data retrieval, performance monitoring, compliance checks, and redundancy systems. While this cost might seem manageable for a successful SaaS business, remember it scales directly with usage. Double your customer base or add more AI features, and these costs multiply accordingly. Factor in the additional operational overhead, which can easily add 50 to 100% to your base API costs, and you're suddenly looking at $200,000 to $250,000 annually just for AI capabilities. So it can add up significantly in a scaled business, making cost optimization and token efficiency crucial considerations for any GenAI-powered product. Therefore, as a vendor, if you naively price GenAI as a flat add-on and your users love it, you could be in serious financial pain. Like with GitHub Copilot, who reportedly lost money due to these runaway costs. Every pricing conversation should revolve around delivering clear business value, ensuring you demonstrate that GenAI capabilities genuinely improve outcomes, command a premium, and ultimately become profitable rather than just a costly feature that bleeds your margins dry. Now let's explore how SaaS companies are actually pricing GenAI today, starting with the familiar seat-based pricing. This AI add-on model is easy from the buyer's point of view, and now is standard for some business GenAI offerings, sitting comfortably alongside base SaaS subscriptions. For example, Microsoft Copilot and Google Duet AI have adopted this approach and are priced at about $30 per user per month. Salesforce have also adopted seat-based pricing for some of their AI offering. Cost varies depending on the specific product and edition. For Sales Cloud and Service Cloud Einstein, the list price is $50 per user per month. Then there's the usage-based approach where you pay for what you consume. Think OpenAI's API, Adobe Firefly credits, or Salesforce Flex credits. It's essentially pay-as-you-go measured in tokens, credits, or individual AI actions. But enterprise IT departments absolutely hate unpredictable bills. Recent surveys paint a stark picture. Nearly half of all potential buyers cite pricing volatility as their number one reason for holding back on adoption. Now, where we're really seeing traction is with hybrid models. Companies like ServiceNow and Zendesk have struck a clever balance. They give you a predictable baseline license coupled with flexible usage allowances. Analysts estimate that nearly 40% of AI and enterprise SaaS vendors have adopted or trialed some form of hybrid pricing, as strict seat-based or flat SaaS pricing no longer reflects the highly variable costs and value delivery of advanced AI workflows. Need more AI firepower? Simply top up with more credits. It's like having the best of both worlds. The financial certainty that keeps your CFO happy, paired with the flexibility to scale when you need it. Then there's outcome-based pricing. Think about services like Intercom Fin, who only charge you when the AI actually delivers results. Is the chatbot successfully resolving customer tickets? That'll be 99 pence per resolved conversation, but if it fails, it costs you nothing. This approach builds incredible trust with customers. It's the vendor essentially saying, we're so confident in our AI that we'll only charge when it works. But this model only functions in scenarios where success is crystal clear. For many GenAI features, measuring true value isn't black and white. It gets tricky when you try to measure whether an AI suggestion actually saved someone time, or if that auto-generated summary really made a difference. That stuff's way harder to track in any meaningful, consistent way. And then there's the bundled approach where AI features are included in base plans at no explicit extra charge, often to increase overall value or aid adoption. Some vendors like Gong include AI features right out of the box. Their model's actually a bit of a hybrid. Things like conversation intelligence, deal insights, real-time transcription, forecasting, AI coaching, and analytics all come bundled into the core platform. Now, they may charge more for certain modules, advanced forecasting, custom reporting, that sort of thing. But the key here? For your day-to-day work, it's all included. No faffing about with the add-ons or worrying how many credits you've burned through. It's simple, it just works. Here's the reality though. There's no perfect model out there. Most SaaS companies are mixing and matching approaches, constantly keeping their finger on the pulse of buyer sentiment. They're ready to pivot at the first sign of customer pushback. It's essentially a massive pricing laboratory right now. Everyone's experimenting with different formulas, tweaking variables, and watching the results unfold. Now let's examine the buyer experience in practical terms. If you think product managers and finance leads are calmly welcoming all this pricing innovation, think again. Data across the board shows the number one barrier to Gen AI adoption is, yes, price unpredictability. With 46% of IT professionals saying it's their top concern, and Salesforce's own research reports 90% of CIOs say AI cost management is throttling their rollouts. What do buyers actually want? Transparency, predictability, and control. They need clear upfront costs, real-time dashboards that track usage, and the ability to set hard caps on AI spending. No one wants to be that person explaining to the board why last month's AI bill suddenly tripled. On the ground, we're seeing procurement teams getting savvy, demanding ironclad contract clauses that limit AI costs, or insisting on generous free trial quotas before committing to any tool that might spiral out of control. There's also real pushback on expensive add-on fees. When Atlassian launched Rovo's $20 per user AI add-on, take-up was so low they promptly bundled it back into their standard plans. Likewise, buyers trust the outcome-based pricing, but only if they can clearly see the business value. If the bot actually resolves a ticket, go ahead and bill us. Random metering just pushes people away. Budgets are tight, and no one wants a blank check. So the SaaS players who make cost predictable, fair, and aligned to proven value win the most loyalty. So, what's the winning playbook for pricing GenAI in SaaS today? First, anchor your pricing to genuine customer value. Can you demonstrate that your AI slashes ticket volumes by 30% or doubles team productivity? Then build your marketing and pricing narrative around these tangible outcomes, even if your actual billing mechanism works differently behind the scenes. The most successful pricing models we're seeing blend predictable base fees with intelligent usage or outcome-linked components. If you can't link pricing to outcomes, like when it's too subjective, then consider a hybrid usage-based model where you provide a predictable baseline allowance with the option to purchase additional credits. This gives customers both the security of fixed costs and the flexibility to scale when needed. Include clear usage metrics, transparent price and tiers, and automatic alerts when approaching limits to help customers maintain control over their spending. The market leaders, think Notion AI or Intercom, all offer generous trial or free tiers that remove the risk of adoption and steadily build trust with cautious buyers. Here's a crucial warning: don't rush to monetize features you haven't proven are valuable yet. Get your AI into your users' hands first, gather concrete data, refine the experience, and only then layer on monetization. My final piece of advice: treat your pricing strategy exactly like your product. Continuously test, iterate, listen to feedback, and be ready to pivot when needed. All right, let's wrap this up. GenAI hasn't just changed what SaaS does, it's blown up how it's sold, shaken up margins, adoption, and trust across the industry. Buyers are smarter and more skeptical than ever. They want transparent pricing, genuine value delivery, and absolutely zero surprises on the bill. SaaS companies that communicate that value, keep prices simple but flexible, and aren't afraid to adjust on the go, they'll be the ones customers stick with and recommend. If this episode struck a nerve, or you've seen a GenAI pricing model crash and burn, or work like a charm, I want to hear from you. Drop me a note at hello@theaibreakdown.com. And if you found this useful, subscribe and send the show to someone who needs a crash course on GenAI pricing. Thanks for listening to the AI Breakdown.